y'all, Natalie here. Today I am playing with this fancy pants collection that I picked up in the Cherry on Top store. And it is called, sorry, I'm looking it up right now, Wishmas by Jody, the owner of the company. And basically I wanted to do a layout with my new Christmas goodies, but I didn't want to do a Christmas layout. So I thought it'd be fun to take some of that Christmas stash and use it on a regular layout. So I showed you, I'm doing those pictures of my son in his red shirt and red shoes, and he loves pink. So I'm gonna pick out this pink and red stripe. And so I go with that white star background from my stash. I'm doing a 9x12 page today. And then my idea is to put the stripe paper on either side of the star paper. And kind of that's going to be my layout. And so I'm going to do mixed media on this right in the center. Smack dab in the center is where I'm going with that. So I decided to take that foil wrapping off the top of my gesso because it was kind of just getting in the way. So I'm just making sure to use what's on top of it just so nothing goes to waste. This gesso is from Finnabair, and it is so super thick. It's really good for covering things up, but it does take a minute to dry. So while it's drying, I am gonna test out my colors, right? So I'm gonna use red on the background, which is always a little tricky, but I like the way that looks. I got out my color burst from Ken Oliver as well as some shimmer sprays. And I'm loving that red color burst, right? And I pick out which pink I'm going to use and I match to the paper. Good colors. Okay. So lately when I've been watching Missy, she's been talking about how her Lindy's colors disappear on top of white gesso. So my colors don't disappear, but they do something weird here on top of this white gesso. So it's the color burst, and you'll just have to watch it to see what happens because it's super odd. And I mean, you saw me on the non-gessoed paper, like scratch paper I had, use that color burst and it was red. And you can see it now, like I put water on the page, I sprinkled the color burst. I'm being careful to keep some of the pixels not mixed up because you know I like that pixelated look and I'm loving it. The red color is exactly the color of his shoes in the photos. It's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm gonna do some pink up in the other part. I do not get the pink mixed into the red. Like you can watch it right here and see that they don't combine. And even if they did combine, the color that results is not one that should come from it. Spoiler alert. Okay. It turns like purpley colored, which actually on the camera, it doesn't even look as bad as it did in person. Like the color was straight like fuchsia. It was very odd. And I've used the color burst before on maybe not on white gesso, and it did not do that. So I'm not sure what happens, but we fix it. So I start drying it off, right? And you can see already like the dry bits are changing color. And so there it's dried and you're like, wait, what? It's like fuchsia. So I roll it up and I'm like, okay, like let's fix this. I mean, look at that. It's like burgundy fuchsia. I don't even know. So my solution was to get my gesso back out and cover it up. So it doesn't really cover it up, but it does actually kind of turn it back red a little bit, maybe. I don't know if it was so wet or what. I don't know. But this, I guess, is what you get for playing with mixed media, right? You never know what's going to happen. So I go grab my shimmers, my bleeding heart, and I know that shimmers vibe is just straight red. It's not going to do anything. I've definitely played with this one enough. I know it's not going to change. So it doesn't let me down. It gives me the red that I'm looking for on the page, and everything works out fine. It's just so interesting how that all happens. And I'm sure that if you know art and paints and pigments, you probably can tell me why, because of some pigment that is in that color. I don't know. But anyway, I was surprised that happened, and I was glad that I could fix it. So, and it does still look a little more hot pink up at the top than what I intended because it's a pale pink in the stripe. I can't talk today, but you know what? Not a lot of it even shows, so it's cool. So I add splatter. I do the red splatter at the bottom, pink splatter at the top. Let that dry, and then I decided it needs some black splatter too. And it's going to be kind of a grungy layout. So black splatter works for that too, and just kind of hides all that. And I kind of like that the shape almost looks like a human heart. That could be like a cool page someday. There used to be a line like a long time ago. I want to say it's My Mind's Eye, like that bohemian line that used to be, and it kind of looked like tattoos, and I think it had like a human heart. And please ignore the dogs barking at absolutely nothing, right? So now I am cutting off 2 pretty thin strips of the striped paper from the Wishmas collection. Please ignore my COVID hair going on there. I was trying to see those tiny numbers that come before the 1 to make sure I was getting even page stripes down the sides of the page. So I cut that off, and I really like that star, and that star paper is totally not super Christmassy. Like, you could use that for a lot of pages, but I really like this bright red and pink for the layout about my son. So, you know, when you go to first day of school, you take the picture. And so I had taken my older son's photo for his first day of 2nd grade, and with his letterboard and everything. And I had ordered both of them new shoes before school started. But the little one wasn't changing classes or anything. He was still staying at the same school, staying in the same preschool class. But one day he was like, "Mom, you didn't take my picture with the board." And I was like, "Well, let's do it." So I said, "What should the board say?" And he was like, "Super cool, dude." And I'm like, "Yes, it should. It should say that." So his board said, "Celebrate a super cool dude." And I took pictures of him in his new shoes. So there is a tag from the tag collection that came, and those little tags as well came out of the Wishmas collection. And that "You Rock" sticker is from a Cocoa Daisy collection. And then that black little label with the stars on it was so perfect for the stars. And, you know, Converse has star as their logo as well. So I just love that. So that is from a This Is Us collection from Paper House, which is also now in the A Cherry on Top store. So that's exciting. So I grabbed these Cocoa Vanilla. If I said Cocoa Daisy earlier, that was wrong. It's Cocoa Vanilla. But anyway, the little strips of typewriter words that I love, and I stick those onto these little banners. I trim up the excess because they're a little bit too long. And I even trim one down to fit in the black and white star label as well. Just little words that kind of describe Lachlan and his quirky, fun personality, where he asked me to take these photos of him. I, of course, being a scrapbooker basically my whole life, have groomed my sons to just grin and bear photos. And actually they're little hams, and they probably really like photos most of the time. And until they get older, I'm sure they won't like them anymore, but I'm going to go with it as long as I can, right? So what are we doing here? I am laying down, I'm coloring in the stars on that little label just to kind of give him, it's not even 5 stars, it's like 8 stars or something, but it just says, I think it says "You Are," and so he's like all the stars, you know? And so now we're going to stick everything down. So I'm just kind of wonky putting that tag down and crookedly sticking the photo atop it. And that sticker had fallen off my sticker sheet a long time ago, and so it's definitely not sticky on the back anymore. More like a die cut. So I just add some of my liquid Nouveau adhesive to that, which I would have done anyway because it's on gesso, and we know things don't like to stick to gesso. That One Cool Kid came from the newer Legendary collection, I think. It might have come from the Boys Rule collection. I'm sorry, I didn't see which one I took it off. So now I'm going to take a black pen and kind of do a doodly look around the stickers. There's a couple scrappers that this is like their go-to thing, and I always think it's fun. So I don't do it on many of my layouts, but every once in a while when I'm doing one of these grungy, very kid-like layouts, I like to do that. So I'm just going to add in those doodles, and then I'm going to use the Echo Park little lumberjack collection to add in a few more red stars, red and black stars, and that arrow there. And then I will finish up with my Nouveau drops in matte black. I really enjoyed making a non-Christmas layout with a Christmas collection. It was super fun. And this Wishmas collection from Fancy Pants is definitely one that is super versatile. So the close-ups are coming up. I'll put my affiliate link down below if you would like to shop and pick up your own Christmas collections from the Cherry on Top store. Let me know if you have any questions, and please like and follow. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.